So let's get into these previews. We're going to go ahead start with what we think the table is going to be. So we'll start off with what we believe. And going from top to bottom, we have Louisville City in first, Charleston second, Tampa Bay in third, Pittsburgh in fourth, the Detroit City in fifth, Rhode Island in sixth, Loudoun in seventh, Hartford in eighth, Legion are our first team out at ninth, Indy 11 and 10th, the Miami FC in 12th. You got Brooklyn, or sorry, in 11th, got Brooklyn in 12th, and you got the other new boys, Sporting Jacks, down there getting the wooden spoon. But how do we differ from the fans? Well, the fans, they think it's going to be Louisville in first, Charleston in second, Pittsburgh in third, Tampa Bay in fourth, Rhode Island in fifth, Detroit City in sixth, Hartford in seventh, Indy in eighth, Loudoun down in ninth, our first team out, Legion in 10th, Brooklyn in 11th, Sporting Jackson 12th, and the Miami FC in last. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the preview. Hartford Athletic. We did realize that we had Jimenez over on the right-hand side. That was a mistake. So if you're looking at this saying we still have him, no, we're sorry. Sorry about that. Can Hartford begin the way that they finished?
I mean, my gut instinct is just to say the word no and be silent. It's the real challenge for Hartford is you've lost Joey Farrell, who was the organizing force for that defense. Yeah. Mamadou Dieng ain't walking through that door, and the offense tapered off without him. Kyle Edwards was sold to Sacramento. I like Augie Williams, but he's coming off his worst goal-scoring year since the pandemic season. That's just a lot of headwinds against Hartford Athletic. Now, is there upside? I definitely think so. They have gone really far afield with the recruitment. Like Barry Coffey dropped, I want to say 26 goals in the Irish second division last season. They've got guys from Panama and Cyprus and all over the place. I don't know how they're going to fare in the USL. That can be a difficult adjustment to make. I also think Brendan Merck might just get back to the back four. That's always been his preferred system. They've not really added depth at center back. Hartford from afar just feels like a little bit of a mystery to me. So yeah, would it be great if they get back to the USL Cup form? Of course. I don't know if it'll happen.
Yeah, this was, I know the Jägermeister Cup that they had won last season was pretty much like the crowning achievement for this club. Up until now, that was their first appearance in a cup final, was their first appearance in the playoffs in club history. But they began last year with just one victory in their first 11 games played, which is just really insane form that they really had to overcome. And halfway through the year to kind of really get things going, and perhaps having that Jägermeister Cup run really helped propel them forward. But this definitely seems like a team that is going to be really borderline playoffs through the year. And if you're looking at their schedule already, like I have already circled like May 9th through July 4th as just a real concern, because you have Detroit, Tulsa, New Mexico, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Louisville all in a row. And those are all teams that we think are going to be just very good compared to this Hartford side.
Ew. That's how many matches? 5 matches?
6, actually.
6 matches. If you walk away from that with 3 points, that's a successful time period. Like,
that's fair.
If you can scrape 1 win or 3 draws, like, good for you, honestly. And I would say that to any team, not just Hartford. With Hartford, you still like what you're seeing with the players that they've retained. I think up top is where you see your biggest loss, but it's still Augie Williams up there, right? And Augie wasn't Augie in Pittsburgh, but even as a bad season for Augie Williams standard, he was double-digit goals. You take that every day of the week if you're Hartford. I think I say this about a lot of players, so maybe I need to stop using this phrase. But Anderson at right wing back might be one of the most underrated players that this league has to offer. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. And when you pair that with on the left side, on on the wing itself, Michigalina is still that guy. And so the wings are going to be ever present. And if they're crossing balls into Augie, you trust that to result in goals. At the very least, it's going to create chances. There's still a formula here for Hartford to win and be successful, but the players they lost, does that outweigh their potential here? Probably.
It's like a margin of error thing where we can definitely see the scenario where Hartford is very dynamic. They have the goals, but there's just a lot of ways where it can go wrong for them. And they've lost the depth that really paid off when they got into that crowded stretch last fall. There will be players for this team that surprise us. Like, I don't know anything about Christos Hadjipascalis. Sorry to say it. Maybe he's awesome. Brendan Burke is a smarter soccer coach than I will ever be. But I don't know. Something is just off about the vibe.
I'm glad you mentioned him because I've been wanting to, and I got to be honest, that main letter scared me. I'm okay. Hadjipascalis.
I think you added something in the middle there.
I'm not even going to try to retry it. And you know who I'm talking about. If his parents are listening, I apologize. I'm from Alabama. That's my apology. Anyway, I decided to kind of just look some film up on him because when they signed him, I was like, oh my God, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I need to watch him play. He looks great. You like what you see. You see the vision at central mid where he can make those late runs to the top of the box, kind of same thing we mentioned with Henderson or Michigalina. If you're making that run to the top of the box and Augie Williams is occupying space around the penalty spot or 6-yard box, there's going to be a lot of space to make a late run, which is what he was really good at when you watch the video. Again, there are ways to see it work, but John, I think you nailed it. Margin of error, there is none for Hartford as it stands today.
I keep playing around with the lineup thing and it never makes any sense and it's really bugging me. Like, I just don't understand. And that is partially my issue. When I can't wrap my head around a team, I naturally get pessimistic. And that's dumb because these guys are all smarter than I am.
I get it. I mean, I totally get it, though. I mean, we talked about it with, Rhode Island fans and Hartford fans. I'm about to compare you briefly with each other. I really do apologize. But it was the same thing of having Clay Holstad start at right wing back over and over again. Cano Smith is so much smarter than me, and he could give me an explanation. It would make sense, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. And the same thing is going with Hartford's lineup right now, where I can't make sense of it. But if Brandon Burke sat me down and said, this is why I'm doing this, I'm sure I'd sit there and say, oh, yeah, you're a super genius. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts on Hartford?
It's more of an overall thought for the Eastern Conference, but 7 of our predicted 8 playoff teams that we've done as a show were in the playoffs last year, and the only team different was North Carolina, who is no longer in the league, and that was just adding in Tampa Bay.